Hi! In this video about the Spanish Audio Blaster, we're going to learn how the program works. One question that I usually get is, well, how does the program work? This is a progressive, systematic, multi-angle approach with only one premise in mind: to keep the language authentic at all times. That is to say, the language presented to students is the language that you will find in the street. The program is made up of lots of conversations. All conversations are recorded at a very fast pace of speech, the way people speak in real life. And first of all, you'll have to understand the gist. We have some specific activities for that. So we try to make sure that you have a general idea, that you understand the gist of the story. After that, we move on to specific information that you will need to get about the story. So this is a deeper layer of comprehension. And once you have a very good idea and you have details about the story, we focus on understanding every single word said in the conversation. And also, each conversation that follows is slightly more challenging than the previous one. By the time you finish working on the last conversation of the program, your listening comprehension will have improved exponentially. And now let's have a look at the program in action. So after we log in, we come to the dashboard, and let's assume that I'm a brand new student, someone starting today with the program. So we have 7 groups to choose from. I'm going to choose group number 1. When you come here, you have an option to download all the conversations that belong to this group, and you can also print out the activities, but right now I'm going to use everything online. I'm going to use the online activities, so I'll click on dialog 1. This is progressive. It's very important to follow this in sequence. Group 1, dialog 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we go to group number 2. That's to make the most out of the program. And as we said before, there is a progression in this. We start with general comprehension. The idea initially is to listen to the conversation, to listen to this dialogue twice, to get the gist of what's going on. We always have 2 versions. We have the Latin American version or the European Spanish version, if you are more interested in the Spanish from Spain. A good idea is also to combine both versions. After all, that can only help you. And after you have a gist, it's time to answer some more specific information about the story. So that's when you click here. For example, you click on Show, and you have some questions. And I think it's very important to see the questions after you have listened to the story and you have an idea, because in real life, people don't come with questions before they talk, and they don't come with subtitles. So it's important first to listen to the story twice, and then you will look at the questions that you have and see if you can answer. If you cannot answer the questions, well, then it's a good idea to try to listen for more specific information and see if you can answer. If you scroll down a little bit, you will see that it says Answers. You click on Show, and you can check what you did, how well you did. So far we went from understanding the gist to understanding some more specific information, and now we are going to the part in which we want to understand everything. And based on your stage right now, on your current level, for the next activity, the specific comprehension, we actually have 2 modifications. We have one to make the work more challenging, and one that is a little bit simpler, which is not easy, but it's a little bit simpler. So if you think you're up to the challenge, the idea is to choose one of the versions, Latin American Spanish or European Spanish, and actually listen to the whole conversation and try to transcribe it word by word. So if you feel you may need some help, because that is a little bit hard for you at this point, that's okay. The program will take you progressively from guided transcription to actually understanding everything on your own. So you just choose the version you like, Latin American Spanish or European Spanish, and here you will have a quiz in which, once you click Start, it will show you a phrase with some gaps. You'll have to listen to that part of the audio, and you will have to fill out the gaps with the words you hear. In some cases, you may have options, as you can see here, but in some other cases, when you listen, you will have to fill out the gaps, and you will have some information about how many words you should be hearing. You will receive feedback about how well you did. It will give you a score, and then you can also check. If you scroll down a little bit more, you will see the transcript. So you can actually see the transcript of the whole conversation. You can listen to the Latin American version or the European Spanish version of the story. And in cases when there are some differences between both versions, sometimes a word is preferred in Latin American Spanish but not in European Spanish from Spain, well, when we have those differences, we usually show them in square brackets, in between brackets. The first version always corresponds to the Latin American version, the second to the European Spanish version. And with this, we complete just the first dialogue out of 35. It's good to analyze vocabulary, the blends in between words. That's something that I explain in one of the videos that are for current members. And then you progress to dialogue 2. It's very similar to the first dialogue, but slightly more challenging. Sometimes the length changes a little bit or the level of difficulty, but the idea is always to make it slightly more challenging and a little bit more difficult than the previous dialogue. And this was just a quick overview about the program.